All right. Well, hello. Good evening, and looks like everything is set up correctly for the stream. Perfect. Well, good evening. We are now taking a look at tonight, hopefully getting our characters some shoes and hopefully also figuring out the hair issue. I shouldn't say issue, more of just our character's missing hair. So let's take a look at, let me check where my files are. This is going to happen off screen. All right. Actually, I really just need my textures. Perfect. So scenes, I'm going to say props. I'm going to create a new folder here. Just doing some behind the scenes stuff. Make sure that the textures are working correctly. I probably don't have to use, but only that one. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to open the older file. This is going to be backup. It's an older version of the character before using the character creator software. And we specifically just want the boot. There should be a giant, yeah. I think we want this one. And the reason for that is I don't think it has, well, let's take a look. I guess okay, so the scale on that's nothing. Scale on this is something. So this is pretty much all we want. So let's see if I can copy that into a new file. At least I'm pretty sure that's what I want. Yeah. Let's try it. Okay. Nope, that didn't work. Let's try this again. Let's see. Copy. All new. Paste. Perfect. Now let's make sure that we've got our shoe cage. What this does is it maps everything together here, and I can grab one point and move it to. Normally when you're working with all of these separate objects, it's hard to get everything to work as a unit. So using a mesh deform cage can help us move everything together and it sticks. So the idea, of course, when we go to bend the shoe, of course, I need to, like this. I think that got everything. Yeah, there you go. If we were to bend the shoe, that's obviously exaggerated, but everything holds together and it doesn't fall apart. Well, I said that. I say that. This piece probably is doesn't have the mesh deform modifier, but you get the idea. Okay, let's actually run the mesh deform modifier on this. Should be on this side. Perfect. So, not sure why this has an edge split. Oh, that's why. Not sure why. Maybe I just need to apply it. Perfect. I think that's probably right. Let me check this. Just doing some, yeah, it's got the edge split. Okay. So I'm gonna save this, and we will save this in assets, props. Should say clothing, but we'll get to that later. And boots, and we'll name this boots. So this is a, I think somehow we jumped back up here. Okay. Perfect. All right, let's add a mesh deform. And let's remove all this extra stuff here. Blender will automatically add these extra numbers here when you copy an object. You can see all the clip numbers here. We don't need that on most things. I'll leave it for the clip objects. And we want the shoe cage. Any other special settings we need? Nope, and just a bind. And we can test that by moving this. And you'll see there is some deforming here. Looks actually no, I guess that's looking correct. Okay. Sometimes I'll reopen a file simply because it's so easy to mess something up. And so I'll open it again just to make sure I didn't change something and then break it. All right, I'm going to delete our light and our camera. Perfect. Now let's see if we can get these textures reattached. And let's go to shading and see if we can oops. This is looking for the muslin. Oh, I'm missing it. I may have to re-download it. It may be faster. That's strange. Yeah. It may be faster for me to re-download this. And if not, I may just have to make a quick stop to my laptop. Ooh, let's see, and I'm getting this from textures.com. And of course, it's asking me about login. Well, that's not great. Let's see if I have it anywhere. Okay. Nope. That's still not it. Let's see. Show file location. That's so sad. Fabric. Height. Oh, you know what? I think I found it. First, I didn't think that was the correct. Let's see, height and normal. All right, so we will download these. Perfect. All right, so I'm just making sure that I have the other files. Got a copy on my Google Drive, and let's move these to the appropriate folder. Just doing this behind the scenes. 3D assets, props, cloths. Should be clothes, but at any rate. Extract. Perfect. Okay. And delete the extra folders. Alright, so coming in here, let's see, attempt this again. Textures. Alright, so this is going to be the height, and say open image. Perfect. Okay. So far, so good. Let's grab this one. Let's see, fabric felt. I probably also need to download that real quick. Felt. Yeah, I'm gonna need to download that. Moving right along. Oh, it turns out, I had none of the correct textures that I thought I needed. But thankfully it's on the Google Drive, and so I can download it anyway. Extract all. Move those here. Carbon texture is cool, but I don't need it for the boot. So I'm going to delete it. All right, back here. Let's see the felt texture. Perfect. Assets, props, textures. And this is going to be the height. Open image. So far, so good. And then we have bump stitch. And this, I think, might be... Okay, so this is packed into the Blender file, which is what I should have done for the other textures, but this was made a while ago. Let's see. Height. Leather? Looks like I might need that too. Yeah. Let's download that. And while that's going, let's grab this one. Okay, so that we should be able to switch this to imported. That one, perfect. And this guy uses fabric. Yeah. I think the only one I don't need is the denim and cotton. I don't think I need those, but we'll find out, I guess, in a bit. It looks like everything's textured here, so let's see, go to our folder, downloads, drive download, extract all, and it looks like I still need the leather. Come on. Show in folder. Or maybe I didn't get it. Let's get the leather and download that. While we're downloading, we will open the height map for this one. There we go. Perfect, and it's showing up. It's just dark. And finally, let's get our leather texture. Perfect. Blender does have a method for doing some of this automatically, but I was thinking there's only a couple textures here to work with. Come on. Nope, 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 nope. Okay. This, okay. This one needs to be leather. Alright, so let's see if this will render properly. I think it is, but it's hard to tell. Of course, we've deleted our light earlier, and cycles. And of course, we need to hide the cage. And brighten this up a little bit. I think that's about right. This, of course, is not exactly the best lighting, so let's see if we can, yeah. So it doesn't take much. We don't need a whole lot of, let's see. Don't need a whole lot of detail here, and of course, this is jumbo, and later on, this should be tiny. But you can see that this is the basic idea. Okay. Perfect. I'm going to delete the light. We will leave the shoe cage hidden. Let's look at this. Let's look at these. I'm also going to hide from display, although we might need that. Perfect. So we've got our textures reset up. That's looking good. Everything should be as it was. Sweet. Let me test this with the sky. Looking good, but yeah, okay. I think that's doing what we need to. This, however, looks like we're not shading smooth. I forget that may be a particular type of artifact, either in the texturing or somewhere else. Everything else looks good, though. So we might leave that like that for now. And disconnect this. Perfect. Okie doke. So the trick here is how, because this is using a different method, how would we attach it to the file, and whether or not we even want to do this yet, because basically if we redo something like the character's eyelashes, for example, and did we hide those in this version? I don't think we did. If we redo that in the base model, then technically we're going to have to regenerate this. But we might go ahead, and the trick, of course, is getting just trying to decide what to do here. A lot of times, clothing is simplified and baked down so that rather than all this geometry detail, it's baked to one solid object. And this is because when you have multiple objects like this, if you just attach it to a character, usually things start going all over the place, and this is why we have the mesh deform option. But what it means is that we have to we have to manually attach the mesh deform option to the skeleton rather than having the software do it in Character Creator. So I might push that off. Trying to decide what to do here. We're probably going to have to redo the character anyway, so I don't know. Let's go ahead and do it. Let's see. Go to modeling, and before we do that, though, let's see. I need to take this character and oop, nope. What do we want to do here? I think probably the easiest thing, yeah, we'll probably just use a mask. So let's go back, take this, and we will basically create. Actually, we're gonna get this whole section. We're not going to be rendering most of this, so to prevent issues with it clipping through the geometry, we can create a mask and say hide, and we can assign all of those and create a mask here, say hide, and I think this is going to get it backwards. Yeah, so we got to invert that. So that's nice because now we don't have the arms clipping in the back. The clothing is still going through, but some of that is to be, in a way, a little bit expected. So there's a lot of this that we really don't need to render, and specifically, in fact, we may be able to erase his legs and just keep his arms and head at the end of this. I really am undecided about those eyelashes because they do kind of add some character, but of course they're bent wrong. And I don't know if I bend them whether or not they'd pick up the correct shape keys or not. Maybe. Or whether or not we'd have to go and rebuild this. So that's hidden. So for now I'm going to hide these, and we might have to we're probably going to have to end up rebuilding the character anyway at some point. So grab eyelashes, layer. It's not really a layer, but okay. And I'm going to add this to the hide. Perfect. If we hide all this, yeah, I'm thinking I actually might even like the eyelashes. After all that. But for now, I think we'll leave it off. And maybe we can add it later, because going through this process is still important of just figuring out what we need. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if we can import the boot set, get that mapped, and maybe also take a look at getting the hair copied over. And if we can do that, we can, if we need to rebuild the character for the eyelashes again, then we should be able to. In fact, we might even want to rebuild the character because, simply because it's not using the correct texture for the eyebrows. The base has this eyebrow texture that we really want to actually just paint out, and use our own eyebrows instead. And I'm also seeing, I guess that part's fixed. I think it could Should be a little bit better. I remember having to originally fix that. So, I think we'll go from here. So yeah, at the end of the day, we'll probably have to rebuild this anyway, but going through this process can still be useful. We'll also need to fix this area because there's some clipping. And this is, of course, just one of the reasons why you might use mesh deform. Although in this case, I might just delete some parts of this. This extra belt, to me, doesn't add all that much to the jacket. In fact, it looks kind of tacky. Alright, so going back to our boots. Call this boot. And we'll probably just append this. File, append. Assets, props. Collection, boot. Alright, perfect. So technically... Oh, nope. Okay, so that's not going to work. So we're going to probably need to scale this down to, I think, scale 0.94. Nope. 0.94, I think is what I found worked for the other character. So this is probably going to be something similar. And we'll probably, his feet probably won't fit exactly. Although we might be able to scale this down a little bit more and fit this in here. And we'll just have to make the end of the pants bigger. So yeah, the foot will probably have to be erased too. And we might use it just as reference. But that's one of the nice things about 3D is you can cheat like that. Let's see, technically his foot would end up right about here, I guess. So let's see. Save that. Let's go ahead and hide the rest of our mesh here. Whoop. Let's see, add to the hide. Perfect. We might even cheat this, make this a little bit bigger, but for now, I think I'm going to leave it as is. Cool. So if we render this, let's grab our mesh cage and hide it from our render. Perfect. Okay, cool. We'll definitely have to move our pants leg a little bit so that it works here. But yeah, that's looking pretty good. So now we've got to figure out what bone exactly, or what bones do we want to map this to. I'm actually surprised. Do we want... I think we want to actually do like we did for the eyes and map it to one of these. See, that's IK target. It's either the MCH or actually the original maybe, for the defining. I can't remember what we used for the eyes. We really won't need the individual toes, I don't think, but we will need that one. Alright, so in fact, what did we use? What did we use for the eyes? Vertex group. I think we did, we did a bone. Here's the MCH. I don't know. Probably should have used the defining bone. I think that's what def stands for. But, okay, so let's show our shoe cage. And let's make sure that it doesn't render, but it's fine if we see it here. Yeah. And I think we might even have some weights. Huh. But none of these are. We'd have to go to our weight pay mode. We may have, yeah. So this would be, we'll call this leg for now, and we'll rename it, and foot. And then toe. And I think, can we multi-select these? I guess not. And delete. Probably just do this. Delete all unlocked groups. That worked. So now we don't have quite the level of noise. Then we need to come and get our bone names from here. I'm actually gonna save this and then say, so def foot, def shin. Grab these and see if we can apply that to our and basically what I'm doing is each of these bones should be mapped to a vertex group, although this should be left. So let's take a look at this, shall we? Shin, nope. Okay, left, then foot left, then toe. All right, so foot, toe. Copy this and say foot. And this should allow us to take this object. We don't need to do it for any of the other objects because they're already blind with the mesh deform. We should be able to do this and then say armature deform, but we don't want to create weights. And if that worked correctly, then if we grab our pose mode, perfect. That's exactly what we want. It's a little bit slow because of how much detail we have here. but that's exactly what we want. And then we just need to do it for the other side. And we have our armature. Perfect. So we might, if we wanted to speed this up, in fact, a couple of things here. I want to say we haven't added our subdivision surface modifiers to the other pieces of clothing. These already have it. Oh, I guess they don't. I think that's baked in. That's a little problematic, but we could probably get away by hiding the boot. Or maybe even just using the shoe cage. We can probably create a group here and basically hide the boot while we're working with it to speed things up. Alright, so yeah, that is disappointingly slow. Oh, you know what? We somehow managed to... Nope, come on. I think somehow this is saving when it shouldn't be. Come on. Ugh. Why? Alright, so I'm going to say open. And we'll open the... Something's not right here. That's the default? Really? Okay, maybe so. Oh, okay. Maybe that is right. Oh, come on. Alright, okay. Fair enough. Alright, so all this to say, this is supposed to be moving, but it's not. So somehow let's do this, save. And that's working. Okay. So it's slow. We might be able to do things like simplify and say max subdivision 0. Okay, so that's gonna work. Yeah, I'd forgotten, I guess, all of these. Oh, some of these, I guess these have subdivision surfaces on them. Cool. All right. So let's, I guess that looks correct. I'm gonna just sculpt this, I think. And we shall make it big. Perfect. A little bit here. And maybe a little bit more. And maybe make it maybe subtract this for this back area. So we don't necessarily need all that, but we might leave it something like I don't know, we may leave it like that just to make it kind of feel a little bit loose and baggy. All right. So far, so good. And that actually looks pretty nice. These, however, are using like, see, 3 levels. Probably don't need that quite that many for most of these. Could copy the modifiers, but I don't want to do that. Oh, it looks like that one's clipping. Ah, come on. Oh, maybe that does need to be in. Nope. Is that clipping here? Oh, it is. Bah. To be fair, Avengers Endgame also had clipping, so I'm not gonna worry about too much. I'm just gonna. Oh, forgotten that this was all baked. So, all right. Just touch that and boom. Okay, it's all good. So going back here, we probably need just one. Oh, you know what? These are all bound up. I can't change these. The mesh deform amount is bound to a particular subdivision surface, so I don't actually want to touch that right now. Yeah, I could touch it, but I'd have to fix it for each one of these, and I feel lazy tonight, so I'm not going to do that. Instead, though, I will make sure that all of these use smooth shading, because right now they're not. And I think there are, yeah, a couple more up here. Not that it matters, because they're pretty hidden. There may be some more, but I'm not going to worry about them. Oh, wait. Did that work? I think it did. Yeah, okay. So then what do we want to do here? Select boot. I'm going to actually name this boot left. And there might even be a Blender feature for adding left to all of these, which would be ideal. But right now I'm just going to copy this and then paste it. Nope. That's going to copy and paste the armature. What to do? I might have to delete the armature and assign it again. Because otherwise, if I copy paste, it's going to... let's see. I can duplicate collection. There you go. That's going to produce a better option. Then select it and select all of these. All of them. There you go. Now we want to, I think mirror is somewhere in here. Control M. So we will duplicate collection. We'll name this right. And we shall say Control M, press X. And then move it over. I don't have the foot for reference, but let's see, I think we changed it there. So I'm just gonna eyeball it. Let's see, I think I can eyeball it. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Yeah, about right. About right there. Okay, so trying to get as precise as I can, just eyeballing it, and there you go. Okay, so this one, it's gonna be interesting because I need to rename these to right, and hopefully that will, I think that should fix our mapping. And so far so good. Perfect. Okay. So now we just need to go back here to the pants and nope. Let's add. All right. Cool. Boom. And I don't think these pants models are exact mirrors of each other, but that's okay. And we're almost ready. I think I got it. Close enough. All right. Perfect. So the nice thing about this, if we do end up having to rebuild the character, we should be able to use our setup for the boots here and just copy that over, and maybe even copy the pants, or just, you know, sculpt it real quick. And we will turn off our cages, so we don't need that anymore. I'm not exactly sure if these match the floor exactly, which is not necessarily a big deal. It's just nicer. We might get to that at a later point, but I'm actually pretty happy with that. Although it does look like the this could probably fall down a little bit more, but we may leave it like that for now. Okay, well, that took a little bit longer than anticipated. We might get to the hair next time. But yeah, the nice thing about this is if we do end up having to rebuild the character inside of the other software, which I think we almost certainly will, already having gone in and set up the textures and figure out the exact positions here that should look nice for us. And let me make sure, yeah, okay. Make sure that these are the right shoe. So I'm pretty sure it is, because the toe should be on this side, but there's some weirdness to the angle. All right. So here's the awesome thing with this, and that is if we include the props inside of the character collection, we should be able to go to our kitchen scene, and there we go. We have the boots on our character. That makes me so happy. Let's see. Grab our character, pull them up. Whoops, it looks like I have 2 bones selected. So we'll pull the character up. And so even though we made an update to the character in the other file, we now have the boots here, which makes me so happy. And if I hide all this other stuff, oh, and it looks like those are not hidden. So I'm going to save this and go back to our character file. Take a look at what's up. I guess I can just turn them off here and turn the display off, which is different than the visibility. And perfect. Okay. Uh-oh, I got one of them. And cool, yeah, we have a nice dark black shaded boot, which is exactly what we want. We can see the reflections. Let's see. Trying to get this oriented right. But let's go back here and turn the display off for other cage as well. And perfect. So now if we let's center this with a good old control number pad delete key. That may actually be the period on that key. Perfect. So we can see the shine from the metal. The shoes themselves are black, and rather than gray. So I think overall, I know I discussed this last time. The character seems, obviously we want the shoes to be black, and that's exactly what we need. I might have to experiment. For some reason, everything, the kitchen colors seem too bright, and the character colors seem too dark. I'm not sure if that's actually just a normal thing, which it might be, or if it's one or the other is calibrated a little bit too low or a little bit too high, but that may be something I'll have to experiment with. Overall, though, even though the character shading is a little bit dark, I'm pretty happy with that. And there we can see the, if we zoom in, we can see the stitching on the boots, which I spent not terribly long time figuring out, but enough that I'm glad that it's still there. That makes me happy. Okay, well, coming up on an hour. Not quite an hour, but that's probably it for tonight. Next time around, we'll have to take a look at the hair. And probably have to erase this on the character's eyebrows here. We'll probably even have to redo the eyebrows in the test file. So there's a bunch of things to do there. And one of the other reasons I want to rebuild the character is to have either all black or maybe even kind of a white and black suit. Because right now it's just green and this kind of yellow color, which is okay, but I don't know that that's what I want to go for starting off. At any rate, everything looks like it's working pretty well, besides the shading discrepancies, but besides that, pretty happy with it. So let's see, I think that's it for tonight, guys. Next time around should be Thursday at 8 o'clock. Hopefully we can work on the hair and maybe even some sample lighting and posing for this scene. The goal with this is to do a test scene, and the ultimate goal is to not only, well, the ultimate goal is to do an animated oh, it looks like we have the old eye still there. That's hilarious and terrifying. But before getting into the complexities of an animation and all that entails, I want to start off with something that's a comic book style with something like this setting. And again, initially just doing some kind of screen test for a comic book, if you can call it that. And then finally, hopefully, working on an actual comic book. And that, of course, should hopefully go beyond just this kitchen and should have more complex scenes, or more unique scenes, I should say. And now that it's interesting, now that that's rendered out, the characters doesn't feel terribly dark to me, just a little bit dark. Obviously, we had really bright lighting before. Let me real quick test. I'm going to save this before I mess anything up and test the exposure, make it a little bit brighter. And of course, obviously, this doesn't have the changes in post, so it could be, my instinct says some of this stuff is just maybe a little bit too bright and needs to be adjusted in the shaders, which shouldn't be terribly hard to do. But other than things like that, I'm pretty happy with the way this is starting to turn out. And yeah, so again, next time around should be Thursday at 8 o'clock. I believe that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, hit the bell, all the subscribe stuffs that you're supposed to do, you know, if you're, all the things I'm supposed to ask for. And I'm probably forgetting something, but if I am, I should remember it by Thursday. All right. Take care, guys.